Good morning. Well, you're a little bit of an update. I'm back home again, and that's fantastic. I looked at Marrawara this morning. The output at Marrawara in the Wimmera Plains, absolutely zero, nothing. 429 nameplate capacity, no output, nothing. If we're relying on wind this morning, can't boil the kettle, won't have hot water. This is a terrible energy policy and plan. The Golden Plains wind farm down in the Western District of Victoria is putting out around about 40 megawatts. That is just extremely low. I've seen it put out something like about 800 megawatts, but this morning 40 megawatts. Cold showers in Canberra and Kew are coming, and that's absolutely fantastic. I really cannot look forward to that quick enough. The other interesting thing is yesterday in the Financial Review, I see the New South Wales wind farms have been rejected by Chris Bowen from funding, the cost blowouts are growing. The economics of wind farms is declining. They're asking for more government money. Chris Bowen said, no, you're not getting it, which is, well, it's a tick for Chris Bowen. They're pleading with the New South Wales government now for some more money to survive. I think these non-commercial energy projects have to completely go. If they can stand on their own economic 2 feet, that's fine, but otherwise they absolutely have to go. Large-scale project in Victoria like the Warrington Energy Park, Wilkes Energy Park, I would say is getting less and less likely to proceed economically. Shareholders, funders will stop putting their money in. The problem we have in Australia, we got high cost of living, high inflation, everything's working against high capital cost projects. I think I'd love to know how much profit the SEC, which is a Victorian-owned organisation investing in solar and batteries, how much money are they making? It's got to be made public. We need transparency and community consultation, and we need it right now. Thank you very much. It's Ross Johns here from the Wimmera Mallee Environmental and Agricultural Protection Association. Really pleased to be back home. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
And welcome. We've started a bit late. Lucky we had this huge drilling because we thought we actually had a studio, but we didn't know that we'd set up in a quarry. Anyway, they disconnected us, but we're back. We're back. Only a 15-minute sojourn from living, but there was a fair amount of stress. But it's amazing what yoga does for you. Or just ignoring what I'm saying in the background. Before we get into our show, just some of the news that's making news around the country. Australian rental prices have hit a new record high, accelerating well past household incomes, and a chronic shortage drives a profound shift in affordability. Government approves a $100 million sale of Tasmania's Reishi Lagoon to UK forestry investor Graham House. After months of delays, the government has greenlit the sale of Tasmania's largest farm to a British forestry investor, despite public concerns about land use and market distortion. Think about it. This is part of the insanity of the federal government. We have 3 dairy farms and cattle and stuff. It provides product, food services and food and stuff for the entire country. And the government lets this guy come in and says, oi, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make this we'll grow pines. That's right, pines, and put in wind farms. That's what the federal government is doing to this entire country. And that is what we must stop. Otherwise, we're going to be, as a paper that was leaked a while ago, showed that Anthony Albanese's Labor Party, along with his minions in New South Wales, South Australia, Victoria, WA, the universe, those minions would like us just to import our food. Now think about it. They want us to import our food. Australia's sheep and wool peak bodies remain at odds over the sector's long-term direction with wool producers. Australia calling the mooted future flock strategy a launch a failure to deliver. That's right. It's a failure to deliver. And I would dare say that someone is trying to pull the wool over our eyes. One of South Australia's historic family farming holdings has hit the market, with the Shannon family listing its Illawarra and Coonunga Hill aggregation in the mid-north after almost 150 years of ownership. Let's put another forest there. We'll put in some pines, put some wind turbines, bet you 10 cents to nothing that the South Australian or federal government is looking to do that. And by the way, back to the Tasmanian fiasco, it was also subsidised by the federal government, so that those bidding were against it anyway. It was never going to work. So the federal government used our money to buy that land, to rip out all the dairy farms, get rid of the cattle, put in pines and wind turbines. If I wasn't on air, I'd describe what that is. As Jeff Kennett once would say, he used to say all the time, in fact, when he didn't like something, he would suggest they go forth and multiply. And that's a great idea. And for those in New South Wales, you'll be very happy that, well, anyway, the whole state's jumping up and down. No, not fire ants, but they won the state of origin. Blues 30-12. Good on them too. I mean, they have to have something good going for them. Haven't got much else. You got Chris Minns, Betty Sharp. Oh dear. We'll do the weather now, with thanks to the Bureau of Meteorology, and then we'll come back. We have an announcement. You might be seeing just on my right. You'll be seeing this QR code, and under that, every couple of seconds pops up a question. Have a look at it. It's really exciting. We're excited. And it works too, which is even better.
Those cold, frosty mornings will continue across southeastern Australia on Thursday, with showers also continuing along much of our east coast as well. We're also watching a fair bit of unsettled weather through central parts of the country, with a trough system there. That's bringing showers and isolated thunderstorms through parts of Queensland and northern South Australia. But notice this high pressure system ridging right around the country, and that's what's going to cause settled conditions for many. We're also watching a weak front just brushing southwestern parts of WA late in the day. That'll bring some showers there, while Tasmania, under the influence of the high, another cold, frosty day, but mostly sunny. So cold, frosty morning, but cold, sunny day. Moving now, so let's have a look at all that in more detail. Firstly, in Queensland, we've got two bits of precipitation. Firstly, those coastal showers along parts of the Queensland coast with those hit and miss showers. And then that weather system in far southwestern parts of Queensland, just bringing showers, patchy rain and isolated thunderstorms there. Pretty cool in the southwest with that cloud, rain and southerly winds, only get into the mid to high teens out there. I'll get out of the way here for southeastern Queensland. You can see temperatures also on the cool side there, with temperatures in the low 20s or up into the high teens through parts of the range around the Toowoomba area. And then we've got low to mid 20s to the central coast, and then high 20s into the north coast, and just reaching 30 into the far northern areas. But notice inland areas staying pretty dry as well, between the coastal showers and that rain in southwestern Queensland. Brisbane looking at a few showers, particularly about the coast and bayside suburbs, 22 degrees. Moving down into New South Wales, similar story. These coastal showers continuing right along the New South Wales coast during the day, maybe spread inland to our ranges in some parts during the afternoon and evening. Cooler conditions, cold and frosty start through our inland areas. You can see getting into the negatives around the Canberra area, and major sneaker shower or possible rumble into far northwestern parts of the state later in the day. Showers and cooler on the east coast, mid to high teens right across the state, maybe a little bit cooler here in the southeast. Sydney, a few showers and 18 degrees. Canberra, a cold, frosty start, -1, and then getting to 13 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Moving down into Victoria, and another cold and frosty and foggy morning on the way for much of the state, and I'll get out of the way there. We've seen single figures down to zero and probably some areas below zero on Thursday morning. So our valleys, so our eastern and central ranges will probably see another round of fog, but then that fog and frost should clear to a mostly sunny day across large parts of the state. Staying cool though, temperatures in the low teens through southern areas and get into the mid to high teens through northern areas. A cold start, but then a partly cloudy afternoon and 14 degrees in Melbourne. Down in Tasmania, similar story with inland fog and frost during the morning hours, clearing to a partly cloudy day. Temperatures once again on the cool side, pretty much low teens across much of the state. Maybe just a few light showers on the north and western coast as well during the day, but little if anything if they do occur. A cold frosty start, but then a cool day and 13 degrees in Hobart. Moving up into South Australia, and northern areas will be impacted by that trough system, bringing showers, patchy rain and isolated thunderstorms, and that'll keep temperatures in the mid to high teens through there. Also impacting our dirt roads for travellers out and about across the northern parts of the state up towards the Lake Eyre region. Further south, we've got temperatures in the mid to high teens with partly cloudy conditions, 15 to 17 the magic number for most of the state. Adelaide looking at partly cloudy, 17 degrees. Moving over into WA, and pretty dry conditions for much of the state. The only wet weather will just be some showers coming here with a trough and weak front in the southwestern parts of the state as we move during the day. And that'll extend slightly inland as we move towards Thursday night. Otherwise, temperatures in the high teens to low 20s through many areas, get into the mid to high 20s as we get into northern parts of WA. Perth itself looking at a few late showers and 21 degrees. Pretty mild for winter. Moving up into northern Australia, and you see that weather system there in southern parts of the NT. That'll be moving out during the day, but we could see some showers and cloud lingering in southeastern parts. But otherwise should be further west, partly cloudy and pretty dry through Alice. Further north, dry and partly cloudy conditions, mid to high 20s through central areas, and as usual, low 30s through northern parts of the NT on Thursday. Maybe just a coastal showers in those easterlies around the far northern parts of the Arnhem Land. Otherwise, sunny conditions spreading right across the Kimberley as well, with hot, dry and sunny conditions. Darwin looking at a partly cloudy, 32 degrees. So with a bit of weather on the way or a weekend approaching in coming days, you can always get the latest forecast and warnings via our website and app, and I'll be here again tomorrow to give you Friday's forecast.
And welcome. Puberty has struck again. Oh, I'm so excited. See, I'm not that old. Take that back immediately. Yesterday, I got to apologise before we do anything else. Telstra, as you know, went down. No, it wasn't the Chinese attacking us, and we weren't nobbled by the government. It was just a thing we couldn't control. So what we were doing silent movies yesterday. That was our strategy. Now, we didn't know. I didn't know about it until I finished. Then I looked at my phone and there was 432 messages, none from Telstra, for inconveniencing our audience that needed to hear, not just see. Anyway, today we're working fine. I think we are anyway. So thank you to our audience, by the way. And don't forget, next week, the man from the Gold Coast who loves warm weather is up in Australia's high country, and Jeff Court will be with us shortly, and he will tell me to rug up. I keep thinking I might take my Hawaiian shirts, but they don't have any long sleeve woolen ones. There's no need for them in Waikiki Beach. Although, here's something before I get into the next bit. Hawaii, especially Waikiki, they sell an enormous amount of snow gear, but they sell it to the Japanese who are taking it back to Japan from Hawaii. Interesting, isn't it? Some great reverse marketing there. So there you are. So those who thought I was an idiot suggesting that you could have woolen Hawaiian stuff, you can, I think. Now, we're announcing an exciting addition to the Country Telegraph. No, we're not expecting. I think. Hang on. Cam? No, he's not. Okay. Instant Polls is our official sponsor, And we're very excited. That's why if you look down, is it down there? No, there. There we are. Look, there. Just there. There we are. That's that's a QR code for those wondering. Our typewriter didn't go nuts. Typewriter. Gee, there's an oldie for you. But they're our official sponsor, and with the cutting-edge software, we can gather your opinions on the topics we discuss daily. And you can tune in for the live results just after 8 a.m. the next morning. Now, we encourage you to vote each day and make your views count, because this time, we're trying to give you a voice. Here's your voice, and then we'll make that public, and it will be available for all news organisations to refer to, or yourselves and Facebook and whatever. I think it's the first time in this country that a media such as ourselves has access to this magnificent facility. Now, Instant Polls offers a secure, user-friendly and cost-effective voting platform that's adaptable to any industry or business. Great way of finding out if your customers or our audience really have an opinion, don't like something. Sometimes people, they just don't like to be associated with some sort of conflict. So here's a chance to, for your business to include that in your business, and you can get this instant, and you can see how it grows or goes down. You can see the results very, very quickly. So it's absolutely fantastic. Now, besides businesses, it's a great solution for organisations like ours or larger to engage their teams, gather feedback, drive better management decisions, and unlock deeper insights. Now, if you want to find out more, just go to instantpolls.online today and create your first poll for free under their own brand. Now, at the Country Telegraph, you can have your say every day. And again, we're grateful to Instant Polls for making our program more interactive and giving you a fun and easy way to voice your opinions. Today's poll, which is showing up just below the QR code, it's what is your opinion on the RSPCA's decision to support the aerial culling of brumbies in the Kosciuszko National Park? One only. Otherwise, you'll get arthritis to your fingers. I know what my opinion is. I can only do it once. To use it, again, very simple. Just use the QR code on our screen to vote. Each vote is verified. So we'll know if you're trying to cheat, all right? We know those things. We have our team there with those magnifying glasses. I've seen that person before. Jack Goff. He's on there. Each vote is verified, and by the way, you have 24 hours to vote before the result is broadcast live on the Country Telegraph. That's at 8 o'clock tomorrow. And I'm very excited about it too. Our guest, Jeff Court, just disappeared. He must be on Telstra also. He's just gone. Jeff, come back to me. In the meantime, we did this yesterday. We had the actual visual, and now for a change, we're going to bring you the audio. Here's the audio of this great song from one of our viewers, one of our friends, very upset about the what's happening to the brumbies at the moment, and a bit modern too. This is where you wear those plastic vinyls on the Country Telegraph.
We need to talk about a situation that's been developing in Australia. How our government has been fed lies and now we are facing failure. Our native horses being shot from helicopters and they call this humane. 15 bullets is called overkill, yet some of them take days to die. While our native horses are being shot from the skies, our politicians spin more lies. The numbers they've been fed comes from muddling on rabbits. The politicians swan around and call us stupid Brumby advocates. We have to fight to save the Brumbies. The numbers are dwindling to the ground. I will never stop until we move them from this living hell. Otherwise, there will be no more around. I've written near on 40 pages now and submitted it to court, talking about how inhumane it is for a horse to take days to die. We are in 2026, what the fuck is wrong with us? That a cognitive neuroscientist has to write a report explaining why it's inhumane to leave an animal to die. The ISC say Brumbies are killing our environment, while Snowy 2.0 is having oopsies. Tell me who kills the environment more, us or them? We have to fight to save the Brumbies. Their numbers are dwindling to the ground. I will never stop until we move them from this living hell. Otherwise, there will be no more around. I'm starting to regret being an Australian, because everything I've seen from this government lately is everything that is wrong with man. I will not stop, I will not lay down. I will come marching for you with my intelligence and my arguments and anything I can. If you're with us, then stay with us. Don't fight amongst yourselves. I don't give a shit about what he said, she said. What I care about is now. This is bullshit, and I won't stand for it. Our government's lack of transparency is killing me. We have to fight to save the Brumbies. The numbers are dwindling to the ground. I will never stop until we move them from this living hell. The ISC are a bunch of lobbyists spinning bullshit everywhere they go. I do care about our environment, that's why ISC has to go. I raise eyes to the sky, Brumbies, and ask for your forgiveness. Humans like that don't deserve the positions that we have given them. I'm sorry, we couldn't do more sooner. Your deaths won't be in vain. We will fight so that your name remains in our history as one of Australia's biggest welfare disasters.
And we're back again. We're having trouble with Jeff Court. He keeps dropping out. I think the internet is not working that well. So we'll keep trying. We're just trying to get him at the moment. He was there, and then he wasn't there. He was there. You know, one of those times. It's one of those days. I think yesterday I put in an enormous amount of work because we didn't want you to hear the audio. It was a secret. And then today the same thing, and it's still not working. But just imagine, though, if we lived in the modern times instead of pretending. This is the Country Telegraph. I'm going to play this spot because I think there's this great movie that's going around to all the rural communities, and it's free. It's absolutely brilliant.
Across Australia, communities are coming together to host screenings of Just a Farmer. Every screening is different. Some are hosted by community groups, some by sporting clubs, some by local organisations and volunteers who simply want to bring people together. What they all have in common is connection, a chance to check in, a chance to start a conversation, a chance to remind people they're not alone. These screenings create space for communities to come together and have conversations that matter. We're always looking for communities who would like to host a screening of Just a Farmer. Could your community be one of them? Let's start conversations that matter.
I didn't choose this life. I was born to live it. So was Dad, Pa, his dad, and his dad before that.
Come on, ladies.
You're supposed to be slowing down, you know.
It's payback for all the free labour you got out of me as a kid.
I learned from watching my mum and dad and how they work together. So does my sister Sally.
Any trains?
I know.
Feet up.
I'll always remember these days. It's the happiest days of my life. Together as a family.
Oh, you're so lucky. I love you.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that about right, is it?
I don't know how you're going to deal with all this. Deal with what? $6 million debt? Most farmers are in this amount of debt. As farmers, we gamble with the weather every day, and it's a risk we take. You have no idea what I'm going through. Maybe you should talk to someone. Oh my God, no, I'm fine. No, you're not, Alison.
You and your dad's coward. Play a game of footy, all right?
Where's heaven?
What?
Where's heaven?
The sky, I think.
Can we go there?
Welcome back. We did find that change. We've put it into the slot machine. Amazing what you can. We've got two 20-cent pieces. And Jeff is still there, so don't you disappear, Jeff. It's just hanging there. Jeff Court, that is, by the way. And I've just, at the end of that clip, it says, the girl says, "Where is heaven?" You have to understand that suicide is very, very, it's not record highs. I can't really say it is or not, but there are a lot of people who are committing suicide on the land. And it's a very, very sad case, situation, because think about it, they do believe, and I believe, that they're being attacked by government, attacked by anybody that wants to attack them, and not taking much notice of them, because the votes don't really count, because the most of the votes are in the major cities. And it's very sad, because the farmer, or those on the land, they keep this country alive. And to be treated as such, I think, is just very un-Australian. And we need to make sure that people in the big smoke know about what's happening in the little smoke. And by the way, smoking is a health hazard. Jeff Court has a long involvement in the rehoming and training of the Brumbies passively trapped from Kosciuszko National Park. Jeff began participating in the trapping program in 2010. He has studied and gained considerable experience and skills in successfully handling Brumbies to a high standard for rehoming. He's also put in a large amount of effort promoting the trainability of these Brumbies at shows such as the Murrum-Bateman Field Days and Brumby-specific horsemanship clinics over the years. Jeff believes this activity urgently requires more professionalisation and structure to assist these horses. Jeff believes government support could make rehoming more viable and create higher standards of conduct. Why should they, though? This is the killing season, isn't it? Jeff Court, thank you very much for joining us. He's gone. Isn't that incredible? What can I say? I don't know. I'm going to go, and I can't have a drink. What time? No? Any early openers? For those in the bush, you know what I'm talking about, but we have to be very, very strong here. We have to control our emotions. And before I scream, I'm going to turn off the mic. This is the Country Telegraph.
Australians are paying more and getting less.
Energy security is economic security. Economic security is national security.
We sit on vast reserves of coal, oil and gas, but we are not fuel secure.
Policy unmoored from physics and economic reality has turned an energy-rich land into a decadent state.
No sector is being asked to bear more than agriculture and regional communities.
We are willfully turning a rich nation into a poorer one.
To keep Australia prosperous, sovereign and free is our duty, and in an uncertain world, our best defence.
Hello, my name's John Armfield. I served for 20 years as a Royal Australian Navy clearance diver. I went through some of the toughest training in the Australian Defence Force. Diving, demolitions, explosive ordnance disposal. I deployed on 5 operational deployments. But nothing prepares you for fighting the system after service. The government says it wants a simpler veteran system from the 1st of July. Good. Then it should stop adding new limits, new approvals and new barriers to the care veterans rely on. It needs to scrap the allied health cap. It needs to end the lowballing of veterans. And it needs to fix the system. Fair care for veterans is about making sure veterans are not left alone. They deserve choice. They deserve care that works. And they deserve a system that stands behind them when they return from service. Join Fair Care for Veterans.
Is that the RACV? RACV, thank you. Yes, we have a breakdown. No. It's just the host is having a breakdown. Thank you. You know, I make light of it. And what else can you do? Because we're waiting to get hold of Jeff. He's using Starlink. Oh, there goes a satellite. Just fell out of the sky. But we are trying to get Jeff. If we can't, we've tried our very best, hand on heart. But don't forget, we have our instant polls at the moment, and you should actually have a look at that because it's that little QR code. Just point your phone, and then it will take you in, and you can put a poll down, put your whether you agree or not, have your say. The question is, what is your opinion of the RSPCA's decision to support the aerial culling of brumbies in the Kosciuszko National Park? What's your opinion of that? Just go to that, click that, and you'll be so surprised. Coming up in the next half hour or so, or maybe a little bit less, is Trevor Hold. He's experiencing the joys of living in a democratic state. Not. But he still hasn't left the shores of Australia because he does love Australia, as we should. We all should love Australia. And I think generally the people are very good. We just got this small group of, I call them, bridge gluers. They glue themselves to roads near bridges to protest. And they're the ones that are controlling things at the moment. We actually have Jeff Court there. I'm just going to try, before the satellite disappears again. Jeff, are you there? You're there. No, he's... I'm
here. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Jeff. You'll drop out, I would imagine, in about 5 seconds. But it was lovely chatting to you, by the way. And it's obviously there's some interference because the quality is actually not there. Let's just give this a bit of a twirl and we'll see if it works. Can I just get your views on the cull at the moment and how atrocious it is? No, we're not working.
Yeah, I think I agree with everyone, Mike. It's an outrageous thing they're doing. Totally unnecessary on many accounts. Many of us believe that the numbers are just not up there to warrant.
Well, there you are. That's and that was Jeff Court. And thank you so much, Jeff. What we're going to do is just go to a quick commercial break. We'll come back because we are having issues. Jeff can't connect. I would suggest look for that early opener, as Trevor and I would like to do many times, but we're very mature. Well, he is, I'm not. This is the Country Telegraph.
The banks in our regional communities do all the heavy lifting, while the city-based or digital banks reap big profits. There's something really wrong with this picture. Across regional Australia, local bank branches are disappearing. This puts our communities at a big disadvantage. Regional Australians, young, old, those with a disability, First Nations, and small business owners are being left behind. Meanwhile, big city-based and digital banks earn billions, much of it from you. 10 million regional Australians help fund the banking system. But regional banks are left carrying the cost of keeping branches open, providing essential advice on scams and fraud, identifying customers, helping with loan and business advice, and providing secure cash services. In a digital world, branches are an insurance for communities when systems break down. Essential banking services should be delivered by trained staff with local knowledge, not call centres, apps, or city-based and foreign-owned banks. A community service obligation on banks would allow our regional communities to access the essential banking services they deserve.
Kona Creek's 46,000 acres, but it's not about the scale, it's about the project you're working on that day. It's breaking the problem down into small bits, solving that problem, and then moving on to the next one.
Yeah, and then also the patterns are all the same. It doesn't matter how big, small the place is. You're looking for the same patterns everywhere in Australia. Whether you're a high rainfall or a low rainfall, it's the same patterns, just a different landscape.
We're Ra and Tina Briggs, Kona Creek, west of Springshore. We are fortunate that we've got these watersheds. It's important to have a whole of system approach to it because it all fits together, you know.
And it's really important that you have a plan. So our plan was we started at the top, but everything that you do has a flow-on effect, and we are seeing that flow-on effect. We do want to restore the wetland that's in the bottom, and Ra's put in quite a few check banks. We've slowed that flow, the water backs up, there's been a level of deposition and biodiversity, growth, like the birds and the trees and the plants. And underneath the trees, it's all beautiful and green, and it's cooler.
Yeah, that's right. And little projects like a food foresty type situation or a wetland, they don't take up much room. You know, we're talking tenths of a % of area. So why not? You know, why not do something that's a bit of fun and a learning experience as well? And I say the words give something back, but we're gaining much more than we're giving.
So by doing this, that's our way to make sure that every acre does count. So when it comes to reading the landscape, for us, in the beginning, Ra had done heaps of research into ways of making the land better, and that's when he came across natural sequence farming. When we got back from Tarwin Park training, as we drove in, we were looking at the landscape with very different eyes from when we left, but still unsure of where to start, and that's when your analysis paralysis sets in, but that's not an excuse for not starting.
It's very easy to get lost in the detail, especially when you fire up a machine and start pushing dirt. So having a clear objective, whether you get it flying around or walking around or what, you need that start, middle, finish.
Make a decision and start.
Everyone loves the environment. I mean, nobody wants to live in an eroded landscape, drought-ravaged hellhole. We all want nice things, you know, and this has become our major drought reduction strategy. So I feel like I've discovered my life's work, improving this place, and
the results that we're seeing are amazing.
And driving big yellow machines is fun too.
There's two different sciences connected here. In the organic, we use a well-respected, well-known science called biology. Conventional farmers use another well-known and well-respected science, but it's called chemistry. The critical piece is what happens to the soil in those two systems.
And welcome back to the Country Telegraph. We'd like to have Jeff, but we can't. We'll have Trevor hold after the news, top of the hour, very close to it, looking very much like Merv Hughes. I meant to get a picture of Merv Hughes, and we could have our poll maybe one day. Who is the real Trevor Holt? Who is a better bowler? I think Merv is, but who is the real Trevor Holt? Because he looks, actually, Merv Hughes looks like Trevor Holt. I think Trevor's younger, not much, but he's younger. So anyway, I just was thinking about the New South Wales government, and I object to anyone saying that they've lost the plot, because that would mean that they once had it. They've never had the plot. What about the Burrinjuck Dam? If you live in Yass, you've got the Murrumbidgee there, and not far away you have the Burrinjuck Dam. Pretty big dam. Oh, look at all that water. But within the walls of that dam, the walls that keep the water away from drowning everybody, it's rotting. The concrete, cement, is actually rotting and cracking from within, which is a bit of a panic if you think about it. You could be out on your ride-on mower, mowing your acreage, and guess what? You see a tsunami coming towards you. So I would probably suggest that you have a boat always, have your life raft whenever mowing the lawn. And you'll find that that if the dam does break, well, at least you've got a chance. And I would have also for your chooks, the cattle, pet dog, don't forget the missus, the family, all have life rafts of some sort, because have a listen. If you think I'm making this up, listen to this.
Burrinjuck Dam is 98 years old. It was completed in 1928, and the concrete is deteriorating from the inside out through a process called alkali silica reaction, which is an irreversible chemical expansion that causes cracking and weakens the structure over time. In 1937, engineers discovered structural weaknesses so serious they drew up evacuation plans for 20,000 people living downstream, and the dam has only aged since then. Right now, Burrinjuck holds 1,026 gigalitres, but the catchment it sits on covers nearly 13,000 square kilometres and routinely delivers far more water than the dam can store. In October 2022 alone, around 1,200 gigalitres flowed into Burrinjuck in a single month, more than its entire capacity. And the excess had nowhere to go but downstream into communities that ended up flooded. That year was Australia's costliest natural disaster on record, with $5.56 billion in insured losses and 10 million tonnes of grain destroyed. The proposal is to rebuild Burrinjuck with a new wall that takes capacity from 1,026 gigalitres to 4,000 gigalitres, which is an additional 3,000 gigalitres of storage. To put that in perspective, the federal government has spent $7.2 billion recovering approximately 2,100 gigalitres through buybacks under the Basin Plan, and buying 3,000 gigalitres on the open market at current prices would cost anywhere from $27 billion to $60 billion. Building the storage costs between $4 and $6 billion. On top of that, a rebuilt Burrinjuck could generate 100 to 200 megawatts of hydroelectric power, bringing in $40 to $60 million a year in energy revenue. It could dedicate over 650 gigalitres to environmental flows without competing with irrigators. And it would act as a flood buffer that protects downstream communities the way Dartmouth Dam does on the Murray, where 70% of flood events have been completely absorbed since it was commissioned. The Murray-Darling Basin produces $30 billion in agricultural output every year and supplies over a third of this country's food. Rebuilding Burrinjuck secures that food production, protects communities from floods, generates clean energy, delivers environmental water, and replaces a dam that is approaching the end of its structural life. Every year we delay this decision, the dam gets older and the cost of inaction gets higher.
Oops, if you notice you turn the tap on, don't worry if it doesn't work. There's a whole pile of water coming towards you and they do need to fix it. But if you look at the Chris Minns and the New South Wales government, let's see what happens first. Oops, didn't work. And it's a terrible thing because they need to fix it. We know the Labor Party hates dams. They loathe dams. And horses too, by the way. Can't stand those four-legged terrorists. Hate them. And we'll get rid of them. That's what they did in Victoria. Look at the Bogong High Plains. The Bogans there, the Bogong High Plains, shot them all on bequest of the government, behalf of the government. New South Wales government, got to kill those pesky horses. How dare they? Let's make some figures up and let's talk about propaganda. Speaking about propaganda, China is very good at propaganda too. In China, they have a fairly strong foothold in this country. I mean, they used to refer to Dan Andrews in Victoria as chairman of Victoria, Chairman Dan. Very close with the Chinese. Same with Jacinta Allen. Oh, we love China. We could be like Taiwan. So we do have a problem with our government towards the Chinese. This story is very interesting.
Near the WA Northern Territory border, there's a little patch of red dirt at the centre of a big strategic tussle between Australia and China.
It's clear that it's foreign interference.
There's something of a fight back in the West.
The Browns Range has one of the world's richest deposits of terbium and dysprosium, heavy rare earth minerals vital for high-tech defence.
Virginia-class submarines, drones, missiles, everything that we need to protect Australia.
Northern Minerals, which is mining Browns Range, vowing to break China's stranglehold.
China controls well over 90% of heavy rare earth processing. Our project helps to rebalance part of this supply chain.
That is exactly what China wants not to see happen.
Beijing determined to either control or stifle development of the Browns Range deposit.
Shadowy Chinese interests, which are buying up shares in an Australian company.
When Treasurer Jim Chalmers rejected Chinese businessman Wu Tao's bid to double his company's 10% stake in Northern Minerals, it did so anyway through 4 related companies and individuals. Ordered to sell their stake on national security grounds, one ignored the order and was fined $14 million, along with its director. In May, another 6 Chinese investors were given until July 2nd to divest almost $40 million in shares, or about 18% of the company. Beijing's mouthpiece, the Global Times, castigating the government because efforts to suppress China were self-damaging and futile. Security agency ASIO has been closely monitoring the Northern Minerals case, amid concern that unless China is purged from its share registry, important investors will walk from the project, including the US, which under President Donald Trump has prioritised the project.
The greatest risk is that it prevents these projects being developed.
Former ambassador to the US, Kim Beazley, saying Australia must play hardball with China.
As tough as we need to be to ensure that we control the product. That's simple as that.
That's right. It's as simple as that. But do not fear the Chinese, because we have things under control. And our defence capabilities is second to none. Probably none. Forget the second bit. What about we'll have some war games off the Australian coast. 3 battleships from China were there, having a bit of a, pretending to shoot things and whatever. And our I suppose, security force or surveillance, whatever, didn't pick them up. It was because of a Virgin Airways flight between Australia and New Zealand. He looked out the window and says, hello, hello, hello. Better let the government know the Chinese are there. I mean, so I think anybody who comments about the Australian government not having its finger on the pulse is entirely correct. We should talk to Trevor Hold about that too. Trevor knows a lot. And building him up, we have 432,000 waiting to hear Trevor Hold after this important news bulletin. Australian rental prices have hit a new record high, accelerating well past household incomes, and a chronic shortage drives a profound shift in affordability. Didn't think that would happen, did you, Elbow? Oh, forget those renters. They're a nuisance, just like the horses. Why don't we? No, so that's terrible. The government would never do that. Have to ask Trevor about that one too. Government has approved the $100 million sale of Tasmania's Rushy Lagoon to UK forestry investor Gresham House. Now, after months of delay, the government has greenlit the sale of Tasmania's largest farm to a British forestry investor, despite public concerns about land use and market distortion. Think about it. 3 dairies, cattle, feeding the country. We don't need that. Bring in this guy, which, by the way, he was subsidised by the Australian government. So he that company had a very much of an unfair advantage over the others. And he's going to stop all those terrible cows, no more farting to destroy the ozone. Look, there's a hole up there. Must be a herd of cows below it. None of that. Get rid of those bloody cows, cattle. You don't need milk, you got lactose anyway. You start spitting all day. You don't need any of that stuff. We're going to put in, what about pine trees? Now, they suck up the juice from the ground. Got to have a pine tree. And what about wind turbines? Those big things that kill the wildlife. Beauty. Government finances it, gets behind it. And so there you are. It's going to be owned by the British. And it's a giant chunk of land in Tassie. And we should be ashamed of ourselves. But that's the way the federal government is going. It wants to take back, don't forget, by 2030, it wants 1/3 of Australia's land under its complete control so it can plant trees and go back to the days before Captain Cook was here. Anyway, Australia's sheep and wool peak bodies remain at odds over the sector's long-term direction, with wool producers Australia calling the mooted Future Flock strategy launch a failure to deliver. One of South Australia's historic family holdings has hit the market, with the Shannon family listing its Illawarra and Coonunga Hill aggregation in the mid-north after almost 150 years of ownership. Do you ever think when you hear Illawarra, you think of, what was that comedian's name? Somebody lets me know in chat, that'd be great. Mustn't think Illawarra. I mean, I thought it was very clever. What was his name? He had one hit, but it's classic Australian. It's just brilliant. What was another one? Anyway, all these little quips. Maybe Trevor knows that too. Probably in his day, my day it was anyway. And for those that follow rugby, state of origin, just to recap, Blues won 30 to Queensland 12. Now, if you want to find out more about what's happening on the Country Telegraph, you can just log on to Facebook, YouTube. What else is there? X, Rumble, all those, either live and mostly with sound, if Telstra lets us, and or replay it later on, because you may not be able to watch it live at that particular part of the day. So whatever you do, we do appreciate it. And don't forget, we have our app. It's the QR code. It's now working. I'll go through more with that with Trevor, because, again, Trevor will know all about these sorts of things. He's a very intelligent guy, Trevor. He's just, and we got 472 million people waiting to hear Trevor Hold coming up next here on the Country Telegraph.
Those cold, frosty mornings will continue across southeastern Australia on Thursday, with showers also continuing along much of our east coast as well. We're also watching a fair bit of unsettled weather through central parts of the country, with a trough system there. That's bringing showers and isolated thunderstorms through parts of Queensland and northern South Australia. But notice this high pressure system ridging right around the country, and that's what's going to cause settled conditions for many. We're also watching a weak front just brushing southwestern parts of WA late in the day. That'll bring some showers there, while Tasmania, under the influence of the high, another cold, frosty day, but mostly sunny. So cold, frosty morning, but cold, sunny day. Moving now, so let's have a look at all that in more detail. Firstly, in Queensland, we've got two bits of precipitation. Firstly, those coastal showers along parts of the Queensland coast with those hit and miss showers. And then that weather system in far southwestern parts of Queensland, just bringing showers, patchy rain and isolated thunderstorms there. Pretty cool in the southwest with that cloud, rain and southerly winds, only get into the mid to high teens out there. I'll get out of the way here for southeastern Queensland. You can see temperatures also on the cool side there, with temperatures in the low 20s or up into the high teens through parts of the range around the Toowoomba area. And then we've got low to mid 20s to the central coast, and then high 20s into the north coast, and just reaching 30 into the far northern areas. But notice inland areas staying pretty dry as well, between the coastal showers and that rain in southwestern Queensland. Brisbane looking at a few showers, particularly about the coast and bayside suburbs, 22 degrees. Moving down into New South Wales, similar story. These coastal showers continuing right along the New South Wales coast during the day, maybe spread inland to our ranges in some parts during the afternoon and evening. Cooler conditions, cold and frosty start through our inland areas. You can see getting into the negatives around the Canberra area, and major sneaker shower or possible rumble into far northwestern parts of the state later in the day. Showers and cooler on the east coast, mid to high teens right across the state, maybe a little bit cooler here in the southeast. Sydney, a few showers and 18 degrees. Canberra, a cold, frosty start, -1, and then getting to 13 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Moving down into Victoria, and another cold and frosty and foggy morning on the way for much of the state, and I'll get out of the way there. We've seen single figures down to 0 and probably some areas below 0 on Thursday morning. So our valleys, so our eastern and central ranges will probably see another round of fog, but then that fog and frost should clear to a mostly sunny day across large parts of the state. Staying cool though, temperatures in the low teens through southern areas and get into the mid to high teens through northern areas. A cold start, but then a partly cloudy afternoon and 14 degrees in Melbourne. Down in Tasmania, similar story with inland fog and frost during the morning hours, clearing to a partly cloudy day. Temperatures once again on the cool side, pretty much low teens across much of the state. Maybe just a few light showers on the north and western coast as well during the day, but little if anything if they do occur. A cold frosty start, but then a cool day and 13 degrees in Hobart. Moving up into South Australia, and northern areas will be impacted by that trough system, bringing showers, patchy rain and isolated thunderstorms, and that'll keep temperatures in the mid to high teens through there. Also impacting our dirt roads for travellers out and about across the northern parts of the state up towards the Lake Eyre region. Further south, we've got temperatures in the mid to high teens with partly cloudy conditions, 15 to 17 the magic number for most of the state. Adelaide looking at partly cloudy, 17 degrees. Moving over into WA, and pretty dry conditions for much of the state. The only wet weather will just be some showers coming here with a trough and weak front in the southwestern parts of the state as we move during the day. And that'll extend slightly inland as we move towards Thursday night. Otherwise, temperatures in the high teens to low 20s through many areas, get into the mid to high 20s as we get into northern parts of WA. Perth itself looking at a few late showers and 21 degrees. Pretty mild for winter. Moving up into northern Australia, and you see that weather system there in southern parts of the NT. That'll be moving out during the day, but we could see some showers and cloud lingering in southeastern parts. But otherwise should be further west, partly cloudy and pretty dry through Alice. Further north, dry and partly cloudy conditions, mid to high 20s through central areas, and as usual, low 30s through northern parts of the NT on Thursday. Maybe just a coastal showers in those easterlies around the far northern parts of the Arnhem Land. Otherwise, sunny conditions spreading right across the Kimberley as well, with hot, dry and sunny conditions. Darwin looking at partly cloudy, 32 degrees. So with a bit of weather on the way or a weekend approaching in coming days, you can always get the latest forecast and warnings via our website and app, and I'll be here again tomorrow to give you Friday's forecast.
And welcome back to the Country Telegraph. We're announcing an exciting addition to the Country Telegraph. Instant Polls is our official sponsor. With the cutting-edge software, we can gather your opinions on the topics we discuss daily. And you can tune in for the live results next day at 8 a.m. or just after. We encourage you to vote each day and to make your views count. Instant Polls offers a secure, user-friendly and cost-effective voting platform that's adaptable to any industry or business. It's an ideal solution for organisations such as ours or larger to engage their teams, gather feedback, drive better management decisions and unlock deeper insights. Organisations can visit instantpolls.online today and create their first poll. Your first poll, it's free under their own brand. At the Country Telegraph, you can have your say every day. And we are very grateful to Instant Polls for making our program more interactive and giving you a fun and easy way to voice your opinions without driving your neighbours nuts. And once only, please. That includes you, Trevor. Today's poll is, what is your opinion on the RSPCA's decision to support the aerial culling of brumbies in Kosciuszko National Park? Now just use the QR code on our screen to vote. Each vote is verified and you have 24 hours to vote before the result is broadcast on the Country Telegraph at around 8 o'clock the next day. So that's our instant polls. As an ultrapreneur, Trevor Holt is involved in several business ventures, ranging from farming through to advocacy, counselling and mental health. Trevor has the TARDIS. It is the TARDIS, something he kills those fire ants with, which we always talk about, but it does look like something out of Star Trek, doesn't it, or Doctor Who. Trevor's an accredited counsellor and mental health practitioner and can probably help you out with fire ants. Trevor, tell me about those. First of all, you can only vote once, by the way, with our instant poll, so don't you go in there and start go clickety, hang on, clickety, clickety, click. And by the way, your microphone needs to be turned on. He's been waiting there patiently. And now he's turned off. Trevor, we have to turn you on. You never thought I'd say that to you? Come on, there he is. See, it's lucky we can't hear him because we'd have a semblance of a... there he is. Look, Trevor's having... It's one of those things. What I'm going to do, because I've done this well all day. Hang on. Where's Cam? He's left the building. I'm just going to go into something here. Why don't we do an example on how government works? This is how government works. Well, Trevor, as he scratches that wild moustache of his in a look of panic, the sweat dripping from the brow, we'll go into a government message. This is how government operates.
Can't have people living on this soil.
No, but you know,
I don't know how they did things back in your day, but there is no way that we could approve a plan like this.
No way. Okay, well, we'll have to get rid of it.
Absolutely.
It's going to cost a fortune.
If you want the permit.
Oh, yeah, we'll dig it up and truck it out.
Well, question is how?
Trucks?
Heavily contaminated material being driven through local streets. How do you propose to do that?
At night?
This isn't the 1970s.
I was at school.
Or the Wild West. I mean, no, we are going to need a toxic substance transport plan.
What?
Fully approved.
I was wondering about that.
Excuse me, I live over there and we were just wondering what's happening with the site. We heard the government might be selling it off.
No, selling it, but doing
Sorry,
residential...
Tony.
No?
We welcome queries, sir, but it's best done through this number. That's a community hotline. They'll be able to deal with any questions you might have.
Yeah, well, I was just...
Thanks so much.
Okay. What was that about?
These days it's best we don't speak directly with the public.
But you're the public liaison officer.
Exactly. What did you do in your day?
Speak with the public?
Ah, dear. We have to have a bit of jocularity. Hang on. Trevor, hold. Are you reading this loud and clear? We have the chuckle. We have the Merv Hughes chuckle. Trevor, by the way, as I was saying, because one of those days, I think yesterday when Telstra decided to eliminate the audio from all of our clips, which is pretty clever indeed, I think it's continued, but we are getting through it. I think maybe we have an invasion of those fire ants. They're into the system and attacking all because they are carnivorous and they do carry people away. If you believe state government propaganda or the ISC, terrible creatures, those fire ants. And I mentioned before, Trevor, you have the TARDIS, which is your machine that you go around and you scold those fire ants in more ways than one. Before we get into that, first of all, the poll, it's a great way. In fact, we're going to include you in that poll at times just to find out the audience's views, and we'll make that available to you and your organisation too, because I think you are under attack. Tell me about your court case. Where are we? I mean, have you got any shackles? Are you handcuffed? Are they going to ship you to a faraway country?
Thanks for having us, Mike. Can you hear me? I can't see my image there on your...
No. That's because Telstra really messed things up, but we can see you. You are looking gorgeous.
Oh, okay. No, that's great. Okay, well, thanks for having me today, Mike. And I was at court on Tuesday the other day. They haven't taken me away or had me shot or thrown me in a deep dark dungeon somewhere, and I'm able to talk to you today, which is great. So basically, as many people may be aware, I was charged with obstructing police under Section 790 of the Police Powers and Responsibilities Act. That happened on 16th of April 2025. So that was quite some time ago. And so basically it was under Section 791B of the Police Powers and Responsibility Act during a fire ant operation where 16 biosecurity officers from the National Fire Ant Eradication Program and supported by 5 armed police officers forced entry onto my private organically certified property and baited with the pesticide product called Engage, which consists of S-methoprene as the active ingredient and uses derivatives of genetically modified corn grit and soya oil. So basically, that's the brief of my criminal court proceedings. So they've managed to turn a civil matter into a criminal matter. I was originally calling the police hired goons because they are paid by the department to support them. But interestingly, legal advice has sort of told me, well, the term that they actually are is paid escorts, which is probably more defamatory than hired goons. So let's just call them what they are, is paid escorts. So generally these police, and under that section of the Act, was made for escorting wide loads or heavy loads or some of these big turbines that you talk of with these renewable things. So instead they've been used to force entry onto private property.
Tell me, are you representing yourself?
No, I have got legal assistance. I've had several legal assistance throughout the trial. Obviously, I've gone to court over 12 times. The process in itself is made to drain you, isn't it? Having to go to court and spend it. But I do have legal representation. A lady from a law firm from Sydney is coming up and has been representing me for probably, or at least the last 4 or 5 mentions. So, which has been great.
It's and the mental strain or mental anguish. How are you handling it?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I feel that I'm probably well prepared in the fact that I've done my mental health training and I'm a counsellor, and that's sort of what I do. So I feel if anyone is capable of managing all these stresses, it is probably me. The fact that I'm self-employed for starters, so I don't have to ask my boss for time off to go to all these mentions, which I imagine could be quite detrimental for your employment. Should you have a boss or something having to put in for time off every month to go to these court hearings. So I feel I'm pretty blessed like that. Obviously, losing a little bit of money in regards to I can't earn money while I'm at court. So, but I'm pretty flexible in what I do, and especially in the mornings when the court sitting's on. So I feel it hasn't really affected me too much financially. It doesn't really affect my clients or anything that I do in regards to my business too much. Most things are quite flexible. So I feel that it's an opportunity for me to learn about this process and learn what people have been going through and really experiencing a lot of these issues and the legal structure that is upon us all. I'm not Robinson Crusoe. These things happen to other people all the time, and it's good to experience this firsthand to get some real insight into the problems and improvement opportunities that can be explored.
Yeah, this I have to say the fire ant, because I think I read somewhere where I call them bridge gluers, the ones that glue themselves to roads near bridges. If you're familiar with Sydney Harbour or the Westgate Bridge in Melbourne, Sydney Harbour's in Sydney, of course. They used to do that quite often, even bridges in Brisbane, and many would say that resembles, if not is, the ISC. I could be entirely wrong, but they do, I think, do things that encourage government to do other things. And they were bragging that they encouraged government to spend 540, I think could be wrong, about 543 million or something on getting rid of these terrible, terrible, terrible ants. My wife goes to a masseur, just because her neck or whatever, his name's Pablo. Pablo said that they came onto his property without any permission, just came on and sprayed the entire property. And now there are no more ants, ever. All ants have gone, and other animals or other insects and stuff have died. And he is very, very upset that his yard resembles something like the killing fields. You probably have heard many cases of that they come onto your property. Can you just tell me, with your limited knowledge of the law, but no one should adhere to this unless you check it out properly, but To come into someone's property without permission, isn't that, I mean, under the old days, that used to be breaking and entering or trespass.
Yeah, so they do it. They're relying on an authority, which is the National Fire and Eradication Program. It's a program that was signed by an executive order in 2016, and that's the authority that they rely upon to enter your property, and police are there to assist under Section 16 of the Police Powers and Responsibility Act. And obviously, I'm not a lawyer, and all these things are quite up in the air and through the courts at the moment. But the interesting thing is the Queensland Police Service Ethical Command have written their interpretation, and what they're saying is while police are helping an official, police officers have the same powers and legal protections under the authorising law as a public official being assisted, providing police are advised of that power being exercised. So under Section 16, they can help public officials, and they have the same powers and legal protections while under the authorising law. So what the Queensland Police Service Ethical Command implying is it is important to note police officers are not required to independently scrutinise or test the validity of another agency's authority. So what they're saying is if biosecurity officers say they can enter and they have the authority to force entry, then they can pay the Queensland Police Service to assist them to empower that by using what's called a paid escort service of Queensland Police Service. So that's what they're saying. So even if it is unlawful, the Queensland Police Ethical Command is saying even if it is unlawful, we're not obliged to scrutinise the authority, and if they say that they've got the authority, then we're just going to take it on, just going to take it, on their word and act in good faith and force that entry. So what we're saying is, we accept that under Section 16. It does permit police to assist a public official exercising powers under another act. However, we contend that the police powers conferred by Section 16 are entirely derivative, and they can only and they exist only to the extent that the public official is lawfully exercising a power under the authorising legislation. So Section 16 does not create an independent source of coercive power for police, nor does it validate or cure an exercise of power that is beyond jurisdiction or otherwise unlawful. So police not scrutinising the validity of another program does not make unlawful things lawful all of a sudden. So these are some of the big questions of law that it might seem like a simple obstruct police charge, but this happened under coercive powers of another authority entering private property, contravening fundamental human rights and private property rights. So a lot of these things need to be better implemented and a bit better understood, because generally I think the public would assume that people just can't wander onto your property and do what they want, especially when it comes to coercive control practices and distribution of toxic chemicals where there are no biosecurity risks. It's quite a big issue.
It's actually a very big issue, but it seems to be it's like, whereas the fire ants is truly it's just all embracing propaganda. The intrusion into our life at the moment, especially if you're on the land, that's what is gathering momentum in all states right across the country. And I think we do need to stop it, because as with climate change, and we do need to look after our planet, by the way, but as with climate change, COVID and all that, it is a small number of, they should be bridge gluers. So, I mean, truly, but they control your life and my life, or would like to. And I can tell you now, they got as much chance of doing that as flying over the moon. So, and I think the same with yourself too. We do need to look after our own. We need to have our own space. We have a right to be able to travel from A to B. We have a right to have our own property, to think how we think, and to question at all times. We have that right to question, and for them to prove and not tell us to go away, whether what they're doing is going to be of benefit or whether it's going to hurt us.
Yeah, and I think that's the interesting thing is under 336 of the Biosecurity Act, there is a clause there that you can obstruct a biosecurity officer with a reasonable excuse under Section 336, and also common law in general. You can obstruct or not comply with police orders if there's a reasonable excuse, like if common sense and reasonableness, I suppose, is what they're trying to distort. And it is reasonable to think that if you've reported adverse effects on your property, especially cattle dying as a result of exposure to these toxic chemicals, and if there's another method of managing your property to be fire ant free that doesn't have the chemicals that have been reported to have adverse effects to your cattle, and that are known to be extremely toxic to aquatic life with long-lasting effects, then I feel it is reasonable to obstruct, and especially if there's no biosecurity risk and no evidence of fire ants are there. So to have the police come and force their way without going through their correct procedure, they've got other procedures where they need to ask, why are you obstructing, or they give you an order to move on order or something like that, where you've got another reasonable, you can say, look, this is my private property, but to deny all that procedural fairness stuff, it's actually unbelievable, really, that in 2026 in Australia that this sort of coercive stuff is going on, especially we see on the TV about respecting people's opinions and respecting values and all this other stuff, and mental health stuff and all this sort of stuff on the TV and government messages. It's actually quite bizarre that their messaging says one thing and their actions are doing another thing. So it's quite unbelievable, really.
Yeah, it's a shocker. Now, I just looked out the window before, and truly, it was like a Viking funeral, and I could see and the government is doing a great thing, because I saw thousands and thousands of ants carrying people down Bundle Road on the Gold Coast, and I just saw some pigs fly by too. It's incredible. Those fire ants need to be stopped. How dare you want to have your own life? How dare you? And you will go to the fire ant hell, Trevor Holt. I mean, it's all bullshit, isn't it? I mean, truly. Trevor, if somebody wants to find out more about you, and looking a bit like an Australian version of Perry Mason at this stage, tell me how they can do that.
Yeah. The best thing is just there's a reach out tab at the if you scroll down on the aagpilot.com website, scroll down and reach out and just type in a message there and fall out. But we are starting a class action. We'll be presenting that soon. Anyone who's had any adverse effects with the National Fire Ant Eradication Program are encouraged to reach out. These guys know nothing. They won't stop unless it's starting to cost them money, and we can't bluff this stuff. We've got to actually get it to them. They're not listening any other way. So I'm encouraging everyone who's had adverse effects or problems with the National Fire Ant Eradication Program to reach out. They have lied to us about their use of PFAS chemicals. They have lied to us about their products being organic compliant. They've lied to us about their use of GMO-derived products, and they continue to lie about the lack of adverse effects and fail to listen in that regard. So I feel there's a lot of people out there that have had negative impacts, and it's time we all get together and try and hold the government responsible.
I feel like after these conversations, the old saying, I've got ants in my pants. But they are meat eaters, so I suppose that's probably why they're there. Trevor Holt, thank you so much for your time. I keep getting calls from Merv Hughes' manager. He's confused. He doesn't know who the real Merv Hughes is, so we might next time put up a picture of you, a picture of Merv, and we'll have one of our instant polls. Which is the real Trevor Holt? Trevor, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one, eh? See ya. Bye.
Love these conversations. Thank you. This is a Country Telegraph. We're going to be talking about Paraquat. Paraquat, I mean, this country, incredible, isn't it, this country? We haven't banned it. We put some tighter restrictions, but it's not banned. Coming up very shortly is Gary Duffy. I want to play this though, because we're talking Paraquat. And again, following Trevor's conversation, the government really has lost the plot. And that would insinuate, though, that they once had it. And I don't think so at all. I think government is just government. And they're purely, just incredibly, they're buffoons. I have to tell you, they're just buffoons. Have a look at this and tell me if you'll ever use Paraquat again.
For decades, a powerful pesticide has been a quiet force in American agriculture. Farmers spray it on their fields where they grow wheat, cotton, and other crops as a way to quickly kill weeds. But scientists are increasingly warning farmers that the chemical they've come to rely on may actually be killing them. The chemical is called Paraquat, and it's now at the center of one of the biggest environmental health battles in the country. Thousands of farmers who used Paraquat say the exposure caused them to develop Parkinson's disease, a devastating, incurable neurological disorder. They claim the Chinese-owned company behind it, Syngenta, knew the risks for years and worked behind the scenes to bury the research connecting Paraquat to Parkinson's. More than 8,000 lawsuits have been filed across the United States. I spoke with Amy Wagstaff, an attorney representing Paraquat plaintiffs.
They're alleging that Syngenta and Chevron knew that Paraquat could get into your bloodstream and go to your brain, and that they knew that it was a neurotoxin, and they did nothing to prevent that, and they did not warn about it. Anytime a chemical company knows of the danger of something and they don't do anything to stop it, and they certainly don't warn, or they don't enforce wearing PPEs and things of that nature, I think the juries will find that very egregious.
Internal company files obtained by the new lead show as far back as 1975, corporate insiders were aware of the potential risks. They called Paraquat's long-term effects a quite terrible problem. The documents reveal that Syngenta has spent the last several decades working to protect their Paraquat profits, silence critics, and influence regulators.
A manufacturer of Paraquat had done its own laboratory experiments exposing mice, rats, and rabbits to Paraquat, and those exposures led to features of the disease, including tremor. These experiments, though, weren't done in the 1990s when academics were doing them. These experiments, according to reporting from The Guardian, were done in the 1960s, a generation before academics had reached the same conclusion.
Among other tactics, the company developed a SWAT team strategy to undermine any science that showed links between Paraquat and Parkinson's disease. The record shows Syngenta even worked behind the scenes to block a respected scientist from joining an Environmental Protection Agency advisory panel, and took steps to ensure its role in blocking that scientist wouldn't be traced.
The vast majority of individuals, 85+% of individuals in large portions of the world, carry no known genetic cause or genetic risk factor for the disease. The principal causes of Parkinson's disease, therefore, do not lie within us. They are not in our DNA. They are not in our cells. They lie outside of us in our environment. And Paraquat and other pesticides and other chemicals that damage the energy-producing parts of nerve cells, the mitochondria, which are enriched in the cells that are damaged and die off in Parkinson's disease, are likely to blame.
As the disease progresses and the brain degenerates, people with the disease can suffer tremors, loss of balance and movement, difficulty speaking and swallowing, cognitive decline, and ultimately death. Today, Parkinson's is one of the fastest growing neurological disorders on the planet. Its prevalence has more than doubled in 30 years. Each year, about 90,000 Americans are diagnosed. Larry Wiles, a Pennsylvania farmer who used Paraquat for years, is one of many farmers who have been diagnosed with Parkinson's.
I would pull in here with a tractor and a sprayer. We would spray Paraquat on here to kill all the vegetation. I think Paraquat came on the shelves in the early 60s. And my dad was the first in the area to use it. And we used it freely from then on for years. And then I bought my own farm right down the road here, and I used it. And I would say just in the last year have I recognized that it was the cause of my Parkinson.
Syngenta denies that Paraquat causes Parkinson's disease, and the company says it has over 1,000 studies that support its position. So far, it has avoided facing a jury because of settlements or delays, moving instead toward a mass financial settlement as trial dates in 2026 loom. I spoke with Feldelma Fitzpatrick, one of the lawyers representing plaintiffs, to learn more about the legal battle.
When those Syngenta papers became public and it became much more widely understood, not only what was happening scientifically, but what these companies actually knew. They actually knew what they were doing. That's really what spawned the renewed interest in the litigation, as well as just, developing science that is going on. So it kind of became that perfect storm. We were supposed to have had 4 trials by now. We've had no trials. I don't believe the defendants want to go to trial. I don't think that they had any interest in the world knowing what it is that they did and the absolute callous disregard they had for these clients.
As the debate grows louder, many plaintiffs are dying before they ever see their day in court.
The issue is this is a progressive disease. So if I file a case today of someone who's newly diagnosed with Parkinson's disease and they can't get to trial for 4 or 5 years, there's a substantial likelihood that they are not going to be able to fully participate in their trial. Parkinson's affects your ability to communicate. And because of that, the longer that you go between filing a lawsuit and actually getting your deposition taken, your ability to tell your story is just greatly compromised.
Almost all Paraquat sprayed in the US is imported from China and the United Kingdom. A grand irony, as both countries have already banned it on their own soil. One report put it bluntly: the health and environmental harms of Paraquat will be felt in US communities for generations as profits flow to a foreign-owned mega conglomerate. Dozens of countries around the world have banned Paraquat, but it remains legal in the United States. The Environmental Protection Agency says the evidence isn't clear enough to ban it and has pushed for a final decision to 2026 to seek more data. Lawmakers, health groups, and advocate organizations like the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research are urging a ban, citing studies showing Paraquat can raise Parkinson's risk by up to 500%.
Parkinson's is on the rise. It's the fastest growing neurodegenerative disease in the world. We started our journey on Paraquat about 7 or 8 years ago at the Michael J. Fox Foundation. And when I learned of the connection between exposure to this chemical and Parkinson's, I immediately thought, well, this is something we can do something about. The more I dug into Paraquat and the more I learned about Paraquat, there are a lot of things that were surprising. It was surprising to find out that nearly 70 other countries have banned it, but the United States hasn't. But one of the shocking things is that Paraquat is banned on golf courses. So the golfers are protected, the golf course workers are protected, yet we use it on crops all over the United States. When I learned that this is a disease that could possibly be prevented, that to me is a public policy question. And so we've worked so hard over the past several years submitting dozens upon dozens of scientific studies to the EPA, a petition with over 100,000 signatures to the EPA. We've met with the EPA with patients that were exposed to Paraquat.
For farmers who built their lives on the land, the fight over Paraquat isn't about politics or abstract science. It's personal.
All you have to do is look at my life, and you can see what it can do to a person who spread those chemicals on the land. So I would say, please take a good look at it, and please find it within yourself to rid this horrible chemical off the shelves and stop the big companies from making it.
The knowledge that for decades, we've poisoned the land, the air, the water, and the food that we live around. And because of that, because of all these chemicals that we've put into our system, there are diseases out there that are caused by these chemicals. And it's within our power to eliminate those diseases if we eliminate the triggers.
And there you are, Paraquat. And we still use it. Paraquat is a highly toxic, fast-acting weed killer linked to severe health issues, as you saw, including Parkinson's disease. Now, although banned in over 70 countries, including the European Union and China, Australia's chemical regulator approves restricted use of the herbicide and allows continued use with strict new safety protocols to manage acute toxicity. Gary Duffy's organic farm has a focus on growing plants for medicinal uses like Gumbi, Emu Apple and Moringa. We're talking to Gary today about Paraquat. Gary, thank you for joining us. What's your views on the Australian government still allowing Paraquat?
Well, thanks for having me, Mike. The use of it, I remember using it as a pre-emergent when we were on cane farms up north. We're using it pre-emergent before we planted our bananas and everything else. So pretty much walking behind the cane planter with the spray going in your face and everything else, and you come away and you'd be burning at the end of the day. It's interesting that all the evidence can show you that Paraquat is really toxic poison. Only a couple of milliliters will kill you. It's banned in most countries because it's actually used. It's so toxic that the study commenced in 1997. In 1997, there's about 1.5 million litres of the chemical was coming into Australia. And it's interesting, the UK company that's manufacturing it is actually closed its factory up. It's manufacturing up this month. At the same time, Australia's bringing in these new regulations. The new regulations on the active ingredients have 231 grams of active ingredient per hectare, which is down from 1,150 grams of the active ingredient per hectare. All it will mean is that the spraying will only target mostly smaller germinating weeds. It won't target a lot of the bigger ones. So you might get more use of it, more applications of it, but they've put a restriction on number of applications as well. The other thing is that in 1997, when the application was, when they started the review of it, nearly 30 years ago, 29 years ago, the ABPMA commenced this. Many governments later and many scientists later, they're saying, well, we're going to reduce the use of it, but then we're importing 1.5 million litres. Today we're importing 10 million litres of it, or 10,000 tonnes of it, which is a long way from where we were. Even reducing it to 20% of its active ingredient, we're still going to be importing between 4 to 8 million litres of it a year. So the reduction is way it has got no effect on the importation of it. The company in the UK is closed down this month. They commenced decommissioning in March, probably when the legal matters were about to hit the court, and then they just stop it. Now, probably 90% or now 100% of paraquat in different forms will be coming into Australia from China, and good luck anyone suing any company in China, because you're just not going to be successful.
Yeah, I find it mind-boggling. But if you go back 5 years ago and see what's happened, you see that that the human species is not of great concern within this country, according to some departments. And if they start using aerial spraying from drones, it's just going to be incredible. And you saw that clip; they've banned it on golf courses, but they still allow it at the moment on fruit and veg. I mean, so golf is more important than your health and well-being.
Yeah, it's interesting that you talk about the drones. There were no drones when they commenced this study or this review of Paraquat, so the drones went around. And drone sprays rely on a height of about 3 to 4 metres, and so you're going to get additional drift. There was a study done on Newgrow composting site at Swanbank, and they found spores, toxic spores from the Newgrow mixing their compost up 2 kilometres from the site. So you can imagine what it's going to be like having a drone flying around 3-4 metres above the ground spraying this stuff down, and what the drift factor is going to be, and especially on organic farms like us, where our moringa are not tolerant to chemicals. So they, although they're very good at cleaning water, detoxifying a lot of stuff, paraquat and that targets the new growth and the new shoots and new leaves and everything else. So and we don't want that in food, and we don't want that in food that we're growing to try and make people's health and well-being a lot better, is that we'll get drift. And you can't talk to me that there's no drift. We see that one of my neighbours plants shallots every year, and after he plants, about a couple months later, we get shallots growing in our gutter of the roof. So we know that the seeds can drift there, so the chemical is certainly going to drift into our rainwater tanks.
Yeah, I can imagine though. I mean, I had friends who grew other things in gutters, not shallots. I mean, it's good that you're looking after your own well-being by growing shallots. Actually, they're delicious things, but you don't want it also coated in paraquat, because and it's really interesting, the food supply, food security, a couple of words that are used, especially the security bit, used all over the place. Got to look after your health, got to look after security, and you pop down to the local supermarket. If paraquat is on that, or in the system itself of that particular product, looking at the results that have been released and the continuing studies that are leading to one direction only, and the increase in Parkinson's throughout the world, you would have to say, if you're looking for a common denominator, paraquat and our food supply are joined at the hip, aren't they?
They certainly are. It's like you can't say. Sure, they've increased the withholding period of 14 days, and they've done using a lot of things, and you can only use it so many times a year and everything else. But you're still going to get drift spray. You still, as technologies with the drones increases, and we've seen how bad the drones are, especially with the NFAEP and the fire ants. Many people have had to disconnect their downpipes to their water tanks because their roof is covered in this the yellow baits from the fire ants. and that's been getting in their thing, in their tank. So we've seen what happens with them, and and they're supposed to be specialist applicators through using drone technology. It's just crazy that a product that is banned in China, and yet Australia imports 10 million litres of it into Australia, or 10,000 tonnes of it into Australia every year. And that's just going to increase the more we get into broad scale farming and stuff like that, until we come up with better alternatives to control weeds. I know in the organic bananas I used to plant at night. I used to plant all my bits at night, do my disking at night, and if I disc at night and I planted at night, I didn't have weeds coming up before the bananas, and the bananas would be nearly 1.5 meters tall before I had any weeds in the paddock, because the weeds didn't germinate if you don't go in there and germinate the seeds by tilling the soil during the day. So there are some ways you can minimise it. I used to have a flamethrower and go down the rows and flamethrow them and stuff like that, but the cost of gas these days is prohibitive as well. So there's lots of ways that we can look at alternatives, and Connie and I were talking last night about, in the 60s and 70s, it was all about the freedom, all the songs were about freedom, and all our life was about having healthy food, freedom, organic produce, and looking after the environment. And now we're destroying the environment, we're filling it with chemicals, and we're putting food in supermarkets that has to have so many chemicals in it. It's not funny, and it's all GMO and all this and that. We've come a long way from where we were looking at in the 60s and 70s as being a healthy, free society, and now we are so controlled, so chemical reliant, and so focused on having the perfect fruit and veggie in our shelves that we're a long way from where where you and I grew up, thinking about freedom and health food and looking after our country, Yeah.
I totally agree. But in the 60s, they used to try and smoke it. So, but I'm not going to go there at all. Look, we have run out of time. Next time you're on the roof, if you wouldn't mind picking a few shallots for me, because I think they're delightful little critters. Well, not critters, but plant. So, but I always appreciate the conversation with you, Gary Duffy. Gary, if somebody wants to find out more about you, about Moringa, about how to actually grow great food, how would they do that?
Yes, just go on Facebook and look up Bunya Park Moringa, and you'll find me there. I generally do an update every couple of days on there so that you can follow along. I think we have about 8,000-9,000 people follow along, read the page all the time. Well, that's what the thing says. So people are interested in having healthy food. Yeah, it's really strange that with all the information about Paraquat, how dangerous it is, that they didn't ban it, yet they banned Moringa in Australia because they didn't have any information on how dangerous it was. So because they couldn't find anything. They don't ban it because they got information that it's dangerous. But on the Moringa, they ban it because they couldn't work out whether it was dangerous or not.
That's government for you. We won't go there, otherwise we will never stop. Gary Duffy, thank you so much for your time. This is the Country Telegraph. In a tick, we're going to try one more time for Jeff Court. We don't give up. And Jeff's been sitting there and he hasn't disappeared. So fingers crossed. And I think mainly it's because of Telstra yesterday with the lack of care. Oh, software broke down. give me a break. It impacted the whole nation. Impacted my... He's just disappeared. Now, I have to say, that, I can't believe it. He's been sitting there for 30 minutes. I mention, and he just goes. So we won't do. We won't. Hang on. We'll take a poll now. Do we do Jeff Court or not? We'll see what happens. But he just disappeared. Saturday, 11th of July in Albury, kicking off at 9:30 a.m., ready to start at 10 o'clock. There's going to be a very important event. There's this march or protest, and they're riding and marching to protest the aerial shooting of our brumbies in Kosciuszko National Park, which is just so important. Now, let's get this right, because I don't want you heading to the wrong place. It's they're riding or marching down Dean Street, Albury, starting at 10. If you can go along and bring horses, people too, that would help. Signs to voice your opposition to this senseless act of violence. So once again, the meeting at 9:30 a.m. at the Albury Botanic Gardens opposite Albury Tigers footy ground in Smollett Street. So it's a very, very good cause. Jeff is now back. We don't know how this is going to go, but we'll go to a quick spot and do all the bits and pieces behind the scenes and see if we can talk to Jeff Court, because it is an important conversation.
The snowy mountains, a vast, untamed wilderness where, for over 2 centuries, a remarkable creature has carved out a life against the harsh realities of nature. The wild Brumby. These majestic herds, bonded by blood and fierce loyalty, are a living piece of our heritage. They wake with the sun, navigating the rugged terrain with a grace that has come to define the very spirit of the high country. But today, the silence of this sanctuary is broken, not by the forces of nature, but by the hand of man. A shadow has fallen over Kosciuszko. A 3-month aerial shooting campaign has begun. Imagine the terror, driven from the shelter of the bush by quad bikes, forced directly into the open and into the firing line of helicopters. These family units running to the point of utter exhaustion, desperate to protect their young, only to face an agonizing end. Trapping operations have been halted, humane rehoming efforts silenced. This is no longer management. It is a tragedy unfolding in the heart of our wilderness. Around the world, other nations have found another way. Humane alternatives exist, paths of compassion that respect both the land and the lives within it. Millions of dollars, now spent on eradication, could instead fund a gentler, more civilized future. The heritage of these wild horses cannot be reduced to a line item in a budget. The world is watching. We cannot let silence stand for cruelty. The Australian Labor government must hear our collective voice before the high country falls permanently silent. Stand for those who cannot speak for themselves.
That's a very, very, very disturbing piece of footage there, and what's been happening in the high country is most un-Australian. Or is it? Jeff Court has a long involvement in the rehoming and training of brumbies, passively trapped from Kosciuszko National Park. Jeff began participating in the trapping program in 2010 and has studied and gained considerable experience and skills in successfully handling brumbies to a high standard for rehoming. He's also put in a large amount of effort promoting the trainability of these brumbies at show days such as the Murrum Bateman field days and the Brumby specific horsemanship clinics over the years. Jeff believes this activity urgently requires more professionalism and structure to assist these horses. He believes government support could make rehoming more viable and create higher standards of conduct. Jeff Court, we think we have you. Thank you for joining us. We maybe if we just or just try that little button out. You need to just turn on your microphone, if you wouldn't mind. We just, no, we don't have any sound now. It's, it's one of those days, Jeff. I can see you, we can see you, but we can't seem to get any sort of audio from you. So there's a little button there which says turn me on, I think, and that's what we need to do. But it's again, not to worry. We don't need to panic about this because it is what happened with Telstra. Telstra went down yesterday and they are slowly fixing it up, which is quite incredible if you think about it. So what we're going to do is try, and I don't think we can bring Jeff back for this time, so we can at least work it out sometime today and get Jeff Court back tomorrow, because we are broadcasting there next week. We're broadcasting from Cooma and other parts around the high country, wherever we can get into, and it will be live. It's not going to be at breakfast because it's too early. I'll get lost, but around about midday for 2 hours, Monday to Friday next week, here on the Country Telegraph.
I could stand here and talk for literally hours about what we're up against here and the inappropriate selection of the site that surrounds us. It's taking out of a 360-degree rural view that we currently have, that we came here for the peace, the quiet, the serenity, so that we could have our own little farming venture here. We've invested a lot of time and money in it and our lives for years and years now. And these properties that surround us, they want to take 278 degrees of that 360-degree view and turn it into industrial wasteland, black solar panels and noisy battery energy storage systems. So you'd be taking away our finances, you'd take our lifestyle, you'd take away from our stock, the noise from construction, the noise from an eventual industrial wasteland would be completely destroyed in every way, shape and form.
That's incredible with the Minns government, same as the Allen government. Probably in South Australia, not as much, but I'm sure they do it too. Labor wants to, if you live in the bush, bad luck. Now, we're announcing an exciting addition to the Country Telegraph. Instant Polls is our official sponsor. With their cutting-edge software, we can gather your opinions on the topics we discuss daily. And you can tune in for the live results at 8 a.m. the next morning. Now, we encourage you to vote each day and make your votes count. Instant Polls offers a very secure, user-friendly and cost-effective voting platform that's really adaptable to any industry or business. It's an ideal solution for organisations such as ours or larger to engage their teams, gather feedback, drive better management decisions and unlock deeper insights. Organisations can visit instantpolls.online right now and create your first poll for free under their own brand. At the Country Telegraph, you can have your say, by the way. We're grateful, again, to Instant Polls for making our program more interactive and giving you a fun and easy way to voice your opinions. Today's poll: what is your opinion of the RSPCA's decision to support the aerial culling of brumbies in Kosciuszko National Park? Just use the QR code on our screen to vote. Each vote is verified and you have 24 hours to vote before the result is broadcast on the Country Telegraph. And that's tomorrow morning, just after 8. And that's it. That's it for our show. We did try for Jeff Court. It didn't work. Anyway, what am I going to do about it? Not much. Too early for a scotch. Might have a cup of coffee and a piece of toast with Vegemite. There you are. That's very Australian. By the way, I like my Vegemite. Very nice. I got the squeezy one. Ever had the squeezy Vegemite? You know, the one you squeeze and it shoots out like a fountain? Not as good, I don't think. And even though it's a bigger bottle and it's about the same price as the other ones, you actually get more in it. However, it doesn't go as far because you squirt it out and it goes very quickly. But I do like my Vegemite. Sorry, off track there. Tomorrow we'll do some more. Hopefully the Telstra will be getting their system working better and we can connect with the outside world. Watch out for those fire ants. I did see it. Truly, I saw thousands walking down the main street out the window and carrying humans because they are very scary creatures, those fire ants. And as the government said, watch out for low-flying pigs. Till tomorrow, have a great one. Thank you for being part of our show. A bit disjointed, but we got there. Thank you very much. This I'm going to keep playing after every show. Still brings me to tears. I still have sleepless nights. This is just an absolutely magnificent piece of music, and we must protect the Brumbies.
Tell my fool I kept on running. Tell my mare I heard her cry. Tell the mountain I belonged here. Tell the wind I said goodbye. Brumby hoofprints etched for generations in the snow. I've watched the foals become the mares, the stallions old and slow. Here in the snowy mountains where my life began, across hills, ridges and open plains my fellow Brumbies ran. I've led them through winter storms, drought and summer rain, but I can't outrun what follows now. Shield my family from this pain. My ancestors crossed the oceans, but I was born upon this land. These mountains are my birthplace, the Snowies are my clan. These mountains hold our memories, our family history. If home is where you're raised, then this is where we should be. Tell my foal I kept on running. Tell my mare I heard her cry. Tell the mountain I belonged here. Tell the wind I said goodbye. Stay close beside me, little one. The thunder isn't rain. The sky itself is hunting us, and I cannot stop the pain. I gather those I love and turn to face the sound. Though every instinct tells me run, there's nowhere left for us now. These mountains hold our memories, our family history. If home is where you're raised, then this is where we should be. I fall upon the ground, thunder again and again. My heart grows quiet as bullets rain. I thought I had more seasons, more rivers left to roam, more sunrises with my Kosciuszko clan, before the mountains called me home. Tell them I was born here, my grandfathers fought their wars. Remind them that this was our home. The snowy mountains were ours. Tell my fool I knew her fear. Tell my mare I heard her call. Tell my fool I tried to save them. Tell the wind how brumbies fall. Tell my fool I kept on running. Tell my mare I heard her cry. Tell the mountain I belonged here. Tell the wind I said goodbye.